Have you ever stopped to wonder where your tax money actually goes? Today we're going to dive into Eagle AI, which is basically a digital detective built to solve one of the biggest, most hidden problems in any government, where all the money disappears to.
It's the question we all ask, right? It's behind every single headline about government waste. We all pay our taxes, and we expect that money to go towards paving roads, or building schools, or funding public services. But somehow it feels like a massive portion of it just vanishes before it ever gets to where it's supposed to go. So the big question is, where is it all going?
Well, the short answer is, it's not just one single thing. It's more like a whole series of leaks. We're talking about everything from, simple financial mismanagement all the way to outright corruption in big government contracts. But here's a huge underlying cause that a lot of people miss. Government data is often trapped in all these separate, disconnected systems. That makes it almost impossible to connect the dots and see the full picture of where the money is really flowing.
So to really wrap our heads around this, let's use a simple but I think a really powerful metaphor: the leaky government bucket.
Okay, picture this. All the tax revenue, all that money, is like water pouring into a massive bucket that's supposed to serve the public. But this bucket is just riddled with holes. You've got fraud, you've got inefficiencies, you've got corruption. Billions are just leaking out before that money can ever do any good. And this fundamental challenge is exactly what Eagle AI was engineered to fix.
So with a problem this massive, how do you even begin to plug all those holes? Well, this is where our digital detective makes its entrance.
So what exactly is Eagle AI? It's an integrated AI platform, and it's built to make government more efficient, more transparent, and frankly, just more intelligent. And you should think of it less as just a tool for finding problems and more as a system builder, something that creates a smarter, more proactive government from the inside out.
So its mission, it really breaks down into 4 key goals. First, just streamline how the government operates. Second, create real transparency and accountability for every single dollar spent. Third, let leaders see the impact of their policies as they're happening, not, months or years later. And finally, and this is so important, make sure that critical decisions are backed by hard data, not just a gut feeling.
Okay, this is where it gets really cool. Let's dive into how an AI detective like this actually works. What's inside its toolkit? So the first step is probably the most crucial one of all. It's called the data integration layer. Imagine the tax office, the public works department, and the treasury all speaking totally different financial languages, right? This layer acts like a universal translator. It breaks down the walls between them to create one single unified view of all government data. For the first time, everything is in one place. Now, this is the brain of the whole operation. Once all that unified data starts flowing in, it gets fed into an AI analytics engine. This is where incredibly powerful machine learning models get to work, sifting through literally billions of transactions to find suspicious patterns and red flags that no team of humans could ever hope to spot.
And the final piece of the puzzle is where all this intelligence gets turned into action, the dashboard. Think of it as the command center, where government leaders can see everything the AI is finding. It translates all that complex data into clear, real-time alerts, which allows officials to see a potential problem as it's unfolding and then intervene immediately.
All right, so that's the theory. But let's see how it actually works in practice. We're going to look at a really high-impact use case, plugging those financial leaks with something called revenue intelligence.
For this kind of job, the AI's toolkit is just razor sharp. First, it monitors financial transactions live as they happen. Its anomaly detection can instantly flag irregularities, like, say, a company with a history of only small government jobs suddenly winning a massive multi-billion-dollar project. And it can even use predictive forecasting to more accurately plan a whole nation's budget. And here is a perfect example from public procurement, which, as we know, is a huge source of financial waste. The system can analyze bidding patterns across thousands and thousands of contracts. So if it spots anomalies, like maybe evidence of bid rigging or wildly inflated prices, it flags that suspicious tender for investigation. This can literally stop corruption before a single dollar is ever spent. So the crucial point, what is the payoff here? Well, it's absolutely massive. We're talking about recovering potentially billions in lost revenue, catching sophisticated tax fraud schemes early on, and just dramatically reducing financial waste. And what that does is it creates real transparency and enforces accountability in a way that just was never possible before.
Catching fraud is one thing, and that's a huge deal.
But what happens when a system like this starts to fundamentally change how an entire government operates? The impact, well, it goes far beyond just plugging a few leaks.
This kind of technology really creates a whole new standard for governance. So instead of just reacting to problems after the fact, leaders can actually be proactive. And think about it, when a country's finances are transparent and stable, that boosts investor confidence. For citizens, seeing that their money is actually being protected, that improves public trust. It all leads to smarter allocation of resources to where they're needed most, and allows for true, data-driven economic planning for the future.
And this all leads us to a final, really powerful thought. You see, systems like Eagle AI, they aren't just about catching criminals, they're about building a more efficient and a more trustworthy government. Because when artificial intelligence can account for every single dollar, it doesn't just change the budget, it completely redefines what is truly possible for an entire nation.